All right, guys, welcome back to another edition of the Daytona Beach Motor Mouse. I am Ryan Pritt, who has been gone for the west coast of Florida, or I guess that would be the south coast. What coast is that, Ken? You're the geography major
That's
here.
the Panhandle. That is the Western Panhandle where you were. If you got any closer to Alabama, you would start wearing red.
So I actually stayed in Alabama. We were in Orange Beach, so red, orange, some kind of color over there, right? So
Yeah,
that guy over there, that's Ken Willis in the Columbia shirt. How did you manage in my absence, Ken?
I didn't even know you were gone until about Friday.
Best compliment I could receive.
So,
I know what the folks are expecting right off the gate, and I think I know the answer. But the best part about yesterday, I think the real winner wasn't Ryan Blaney. It wasn't Bryson DeChambeau. It was fathers across the country who had a nice recliner and a warm pizza and 8 hours to kill yesterday, Ken. Golf ended just before the race started. I flipped the channels and we started running pace laps. That couldn't have
yeah,
been timed any better, and a fantastic golf tournament and a fantastic race last night, I thought.
yeah, it was a good automobile race actually, and yeah, the golf tournament though was just one for the ages. You could smell it, On
Yeah.
the back nine when it was going. You're going, boy, this is an instant classic. This one's going to be a good one. And yeah, and it was really good, but at the same time, to watch Rory McIlroy do what he did to himself, it just you feel horrible, So,
Yeah.
but those are the things that that's a history maker. Somebody has to be on the wrong side of it if somebody's going to be on the good side of it. And then Ryan Blaney, out from the ashes. I mean, remember just last week we were talking about he in danger of missing the playoffs, perhaps. We didn't
Yeah.
necessarily think he would, but I mean, it was within the realm of possibility. And suddenly, he not only survives all the issues that others were having last night with tires and whatever, but the biggest Houdini act of all was he survived the fact that I picked him in our season long pool for this week. And
Unbelievable flex.
yeah,
What a
that's a
flex.
I am giddy. I'm going to get out of last place. It's a matter of time.
Well, I think just for an instant, I'm going to break my arm patting myself on the back. For 5 years, I have screamed from the rooftops Iowa needs to be on the Cup Series schedule. And man, talking multi-groove racing at a short track. We had guys that could pass people yesterday. We were running three wide, contact, bumping, and I mean, I thought that race had everything, man. What were your thoughts of the Cup Series inaugural Iowa race?
And a packed house, by the way. Now,
Yeah,
granted, they don't have 80,000 seats there, but it's a good visual. Just a neat looking facility. I'm not a fan of the repaving part of the turn, so you have this brand new black asphalt mixed up there with the graying stuff. It's just it's kind of an odd visual, look like a little bit of patchwork, but it worked for the most
yeah.
part. And
I,
there was a lot of racing back in the field. I noticed that NBC/USA, the NBC broadcast team, they do something pretty neat where they'll split the screen where you're watching the leader, or maybe the
Thank you,
leader in
NBC.
the and yeah, and then they'll show on the other side racing for eighth place or even 14th place at one time among three or four cars, and it was good. It was fun to
Yes.
watch. Yeah, and I hope they do continue that and do more of it, and even more than they already did. But yeah, it was definitely a winner.
Yeah.
And there was issues if you remember when they came off the trucks for practice Friday, big issues with the tires. So there were red flags everywhere. So, but they mostly survived that.
Yeah, we
So
saw
who
a
knows?
little we saw a little bit of that, but I mean, I think, I think it's what we saw of it was after 100 laps, and hey, I mean, the guys who drive the wheels off their car are going to suffer, and the guys who take care of their stuff are going to surge. And I actually liked seeing it. I think seeing a little bit of tire problem is a good thing because there's so many weeks when we never see them wear at all. But it was also cool to see guys, like I said, pass people, get to the front, and all of a sudden on the long run they'd fall back, and all of that. I thought it had a lot of the elements of what used to make short track racing good. No, by the way, we're talking about a good short track race today. How about that?
Yeah, you're right. Seven
Yeah.
eighths of a mile
Hey, I'll count it. Um,
qualifies.
couple of the things from the race. Number one, Kyle Larson, I thought was clearly the class of the field there for a while, but Who are we blaming in the 3 wide Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez sandwich on yesterday? What did you see there?
I don't think we're I don't think we're constitutionally allowed to blame Kyle Larson for anything, right? Everybody seems to think he's infallible, but
You
I don't
can go
know.
ahead.
I'm not good at those things. I'm not good at deciding those things unless it's blatantly obvious.
Yeah, probably one of those racing deals, right? But that
And
obviously
remember,
knocks.
you got to remember too, I was at a saloon when all this was going on, so
Yeah,
I was watching from across the saloon, and might not be what you'd call a credible witness.
Father's Day celebration for Ken yesterday. If you were listening or paying attention yesterday to the broadcast, you heard someone talk about the fact that Alan Gustafson had said somewhere that Chase Elliott was doing the best driving of his career this year. By the way, I don't know if you caught this. New points leader, Chase
Yeah,
Elliott, as of yesterday.
yeah.
And it seems like every week he's kind of in that third to seventh range. And it seems like he's got this much to go. And you heard Chase say something this week about they haven't quite reached their full potential yet. But I'm gonna throw a stat at you, and you know how I love my obscure stats. Obscure scats would be a completely other thing, but we'll go with stats. So far, 18 races counting the All-Star race, so 17 points-paying races. Do you know how many times Chase Elliott has finished 20th or worse this season?
Out of 18 points paying races,
17 in the All-Star race.
I'm going to say you're going to tell me it's a very low number, so I'm going to say 2.
How about none?
Whoa, really?
Yeah. His worst
Nobody
finish this year was 19th. That counts 2 plate races. He has scored no less than 21 points in every race this year.
Well,
Um,
I think I mentioned last week that he was he's the this year's winner of the Terry Labonte Points Gathering
yeah.
Scholarship. He is in full Labonte mode, it seems like. Or we can go back to Matt Kenseth in his championship year. Yeah, so good for him. But
By the
for
way, he had
Gustafson
10,
to say it's his best driving ever leads me to think that they don't think their cars have been as good as they should be, I guess.
By the way, the year he won the title in 2020, he had 10 of those finishes. So,
Wow.
also won a lot more races that year, but there's still plenty of time to go. And if that guy finds a tick more speed, it might be trouble for everyone else. But, yeah, I think that supports the theory, man. It wasn't that long ago you and I were writing pieces about is it time to hit the panic button on Chase Elliott's career? And you look at the last 10, 15 weeks, I think he's put that to bed for a while, don't you?
Yeah, I got another stat for you. We talked about the land mass of the lower 48 and how much of it is covered by cornfields. I have not been able to substantiate my claim of 5%, but I did find out it's roughly 90 million acres. And if all of the cornfields in the lower 48 were gathered together and shoved into one part of the country, it would be as large as the state of California.
Alaska? Oh,
California. Yeah.
California.
Holy
Wow.
mackerel. So yeah, to me that gives me around 5%, I would say, just eyeballing it from above. I would say.
Once again, guys, even if you didn't enjoy it, you learned something today. So that's what's important. Quickly, Ken, give me 30 seconds on Martin Truex Jr.
He will. He was. I think he's one of them guys that will go in retirement. We may never see him again.
Yeah.
You know, sort of like a Ricky Rudd type. You know, kind of likes his privacy, doesn't like the hubbub. Yeah, he might go back to the crab boat for all we know. You know, with the old family business. But yeah, I mean, really excellent career. I think he'll be defined by winning the underdog championship with Furniture Row Racing. I think that'll be his most enduring legacy. We'll see him at the Hall of Fame ceremony, but other than that, we might not see him.
I think he said he's planning on running some one-offs next year too, so we'll probably see him again. I think my favorite quote of the week, by the way, they asked Chase Elliott about Martin Truex, and someone said something like, how often have you guys talked or whatever? And he said, I don't know if we've ever said 20 words, and that's probably what I like most about him. So a conversation between Chase Elliott and Martin Truex probably wouldn't last long, but there was a lot of respect from everyone asked about that this week. And yeah, we wish him the best, obviously. So we'll head from Iowa to what? Is it New Hampshire this week? Is that where we're going? A similar
Yeah, the Granite State. Yes.
little flat 1 miler there. Who you like?
Tyler Reddick.
Okay. I think
Tyler George Reddick.
I'm gonna go Christopher Bell because he seems to win every race that's on a flat track that's short. So I don't know.
Well,
We'll see. But
if I had remembered that where I just read in your for the NASCAR This Week page that you picked Christopher Bell, I would have said Christopher Bell just to watch you
I gotta
fume.
quit. I'm gonna start turning that in after we do this. Anyway, that's Ken Willis. I'm Ryan Pritt. Happy belated Father's Day to everyone out there. Hope you had a good one. I know we did, and we'll see you after Loudon next week.